Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build yourself a basement. In case, you're going around your house, you don't have enough room for storage and such, or, you're a tutorial maker and accidentally forget major parts of the build and record that in the tutorial. Things like that, and you decide it's time to start over, or, I need more room. Well, look no further. Without further ado, onto the tutorial. For our palette, we're going to be using a lot of different blocks, and since, that's a good 30 seconds of video time, I'm not going to bore you guys. Just pause the video if you need a reason for each of these blocks, and then dig downward. Make sure that there are no giant caves down here. Things like this won't get in the way too much. We can terraform these caves and seal them off. While caves like this, if these are below your house, then potentially try to angle the basement away from these, or straight up, don't build a basement. Unfortunately, I just gotta say that if there's a giant cave, don't even bother building a basement. Just try extending your house or build another one. But once you do that, you just dig downward and, bring a ton of torches, bring some night vision too, and then you just want to start excavating. Make sure this place is around 15 blocks tall, and this ladder here is on the back. Now, once you have all of your resources that you want, I'm gonna say, nuh-uh, that's not enough, but regardless, what you want to do is first make a proper entrance into your basement. Of course, this is technically the basement of this build, but we're going deeper. So, transition the block palette like that, and now suddenly, we can now use stone bricks, and it looks normal because we had some andesite separating. So go down into this room, making sure this is all stone bricks. And then we have this area right here. Looks pretty large. Well, that's because it's 17 by 15 by 17, or 4,335 blocks. Yes, that might seem like a lot to do in survival, but in reality, things like dirt being in there and enchantments or even beacons can make this fly by very quickly. So don't worry about the large number, it's only about 2 double chests. But from here, you just want to make your ladder go all the way to the bottom, so that way, we have a proper space to build. And then we can start, making the floor deep slate and such. Here we have the floor and it's all deep slate now. And this means that you want to start digging cracks into it and smelting the blocks that you've taken out and replacing them with, cracked bricks. Well, they're tiles, but still. And when you do this enough, it'll look like this place has been used a lot. Because here's the thing. If there's one crack in a tile, you aren't replacing the whole floor, so of course it's going to add up over time. If you want it to look abandoned, you could potentially include slabs into the floor to make it, reduce its level and such. So that way it looks like it's taken heavy damage. With the simple flooring done, we now need to move on to our ceiling. Because once we get the ceiling in, the rest of it kind of comes naturally. We just fill this place up with some storage, some brewing, nether portal, and then we're pretty much done. So every 3 blocks or so, we want to have a piece of polished andesite, and they should go up to create themselves support beams. And then they'll go across the ceiling, and then, they kind of create a crisscross pattern, like you could play tic-tac-toe on the ceiling if you were really determined to. And you also want to excavate 1 block upward, because we're going to have some dripstone hanging down like this to make it look more excavated and less, sterile and cubic, because thing is, this is a giant box and we need to change it to not look so much like a giant box. By far, the ceiling is the most complicated part of this build, because you have the support beams and sometimes they don't work right. Like this one, you can see it doesn't quite align because it's too small, and also the fact that I had to use a debug stick to get this stair here, which means it's impossible to build in survival anyways. It would look like this. So just remove them altogether if your room isn't big enough or you just can't get them to work, because it's better to make, a good room rather than an accurate room. Then we need to add some stone on the sides here, kind of like little blobs, and on the ceiling parts, we also need some dripstone. The pointed dripstone will not hurt you, unless you have a malicious friend who particularly likes doing that and say goodbye. But, you know, as long as you don't throw tridents at the ceiling, you are completely safe around these. So just start making more stone on the ceiling to make it a little bit more rounded, so that way this room looks better. Now, we can see this place is more rounded out with all the stone and dripstone. Some of the points, going down, and pieces of the wall being stone as well, so that way it's not a harsh transition. Or like some of the stone bricks kind of got knocked out by the stone, or this place is unfinished. Even if you don't particularly like that idea, it does look pretty decent. So, it means we can move on to our next part, building storage. Because the thing is with a basement, it fills in whatever things that you often don't have enough of in your base. And typically, that's storage. Over time, you can see how this would not be enough. In fact, a lot of my tutorials actually suffer from this issue, and I've been trying to remedy it, but anyways. What we want to do is create a ring around this place using acacia planks because it has a nice contrast. Place down some torches because I'm using night vision for most of this tutorial until I can fit in lighting. And once we have this ring in, we can start adding chests and making this place more functional. And although the chest, of course, being all scattered around like this is slightly inconvenient, we can add small catwalks going across here so that way it's quicker to get to the important pieces. Now we have this acacia ring going around, along with some advanced decorations on the side, but it's actually pretty simple once you look at it close enough. Corresponding to these supports above, we have them going down a stair, then connecting to the wall. Over here, we have red sandstone slabs, mainly because it looks like acacia, but it's a little bit more sturdy. And now my cat's in the room, sorry about that. But anyways, we also have this chain going right across because we aren't going to have fences on this part. So that way we have, a little way to get across so that way we can grab our resources quicker. But the important parts to decipher from this is that we need fences on these areas and hang some lanterns from the ceiling so that way you have some natural light in the room instead of temporary torches. With some lanterns hanging from the ceiling now, and some torches, fancy stuff going around, now this place is starting to look habitable. I've included some shulker boxes on the wall. Of course, if you aren't that far into the game yet, no pressure, this is an optional part. But still, these can be room entrances or whatever. This place is going to be storage though, which means we want some polished andesite going around and cut off anything that you have going down into the storage area to make it look like someone just kind of gave up after a certain point. So just keep going, excavate the walls, get yourself room for chests, and then make sure that the area above the chest is, of course, upside down stairs. I'll demonstrate how to do that. So get yourself some stairs. Don't use oak planks unless the rest of your basement was already oak. And you see, although those look like full blocks, they are actually still chest operable, which means you can just open it like that. All the walls on this layer, except of course these small sections I've outlined, should be chests. First off, we have our storage. Very simple storage. You can see I put bamboo behind this because I'm not placing the block I actually want to be sorted behind it. Stairs above so that we can open it. And then, secondly, we have this thing here. And this seems, well, kind of strange. However, there's a good explanation for this. This little contraption here allows you to throw items from the top and get them sorted away. However, we do need to place a sign, a hopper minecart with a rail, remove the rail once you placed minecart, sign here, and then place carpet on top. Then do this for the whole thing, and then we can see this thing will pick up our items that you want to have, ready. So that way you can see they're down here now, And this is so that way I need X, X, and X, and my inventory is full of other things I need. Throw them down there. Now you know what you need. So you know, a little bit of a task reminder. Furnish this using stone bricks and such, and then go to the walls, 4 blocks tall, and line them all with smooth basalt. And trust me, this texture will look good when you're done. Now, this thing's decorated and is ready for one thing to go on top. Some powder snow. And yes, I know that broke the signs, you'll have to move those. But trust me, having that there will be immensely useful because here's what you can do. So place the signs back, and you can put a carpet on all of this, and then hopping into survival mode, fall down, and well, that was a bad example. But if you have good enough timing, you'll land in the middle and you don't take any fall damage. So that way you can jump down safely. If you aren't confident in your abilities to get past the chain in time, just place carpets on either side of this. Also note that we have some smooth basalt here, but it's only 3 blocks tall, and this polished andesite can also be polished deep slate. And then make a section of it going like this, if not wider. Place down some barrels in the wall, and then we will make a brewing station here. So that way you can get all your potions and you're ready for adventure. Right next to your stuff here, where you can get your items. So toss everything you need for a guardian farm here, brew water breathing here, brew invisibility, and then you're ready. Down here, I've added everything you might need, a brewing station, and by the way, there is water here. This is actually a stair that's waterlogged, so keep that in mind when doing yours. This is just for some things that you'd never need anywhere else, like spider eyes or just things you need for brewing. Over here, nether portal. I recommend using blackstone and gilded blackstone for a background for it. It looks very interesting, and you know, I'd recommend it. And you know, the larger you make it, the more zombie pigment you get. Keep that in mind. And also, you might as well just remove this. So, we have a portal here. And then, also include a to-do list. And don't read all this is definitely not all my channel plans. So you know, definitely didn't spoil the next month's worth of videos there. And otherwise, there's very little to do here. Although I said I was going to use dark oak, I don't think there's any need for tables down here, so I guess I'm not. But if you do want some bonus decoration for flower pots, use dark oak. And there isn't enough open wall to really texture, so I guess disregard the amethyst. Which means add some target blocks and hook them up to redstone lamps. Add them around the room, you know, maybe symmetrical, and perhaps you could turn it into some sort of timed trial to see how many you can light up in X amount of time using a timer on your phone or even a redstone timer. With those target blocks now in place, this room is complete. We have another portal, you know, a to-do list to force yourself to stop procrastinating, a brewing station, a small mini game you can do in case you have some spare snowballs or arrows. You know, see how fast you are, realize that there's a little bit of inaccuracy with snowballs, get mad, never play it again. You know, typical things like that. Actual storage, so that way, you know, you can actually move on and build a larger base somewhere. We have cool ceiling, and some dripstone if need be. In case anyone's ever invading your place, you know, just mine a block and drop a piece of dripstone on them. That'll sure to break their helmet or even just kill your intruder. But anyways, if you are unhappy with your base or need some more room and you don't want to expand it, go downward, build a basement. I'd highly recommend it, in case your build isn't already underground. And with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Also, I've redesigned my skin. It's no longer all auto-toned. Instead, I've actually gone in and manually textured everything. So, you know, give me all the criticisms you have about it in the comments. And no, you're not allowed to know what the face is unless you ask me. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out.